It is worth mentioning that probably Romania is the most stable country from among Black Sea countries on the eastern flank. Definitely Romania possesses a valuable position for the alliance and thus has a significant support both from the multinational brigade in Craiova that is situated on the territory of Romania, and Romania being the host country of this brigade, and from specific missions assigned to Romanian air forces and Romanian reconnaissance. And so Romania is a valuable asset for alliance, and Romania receives additional support and additional funding for its multinational component of armed forces. At the same time, we should also note that Romanian military and Romanian personnel, especially personnel, are still in the process of reforms and additional education. According to Romania National Security Doctrine for 2020-2024, Russia is designated as the main threat to Romanian national security. And especially after 2022, after Russian full-scale invasion of Ukraine, we do see that Romanian security forces, Romanian military, are trying to catch up with the new developments, new trends and new aspects of modern warfare. And so, answering the question on possible Romanian vulnerability, we should mention that yes, Romania is a stable ally of NATO. Yes, Romania possesses great resources and good cooperation with its friends and comrades within the NATO alliance, but no, Romanian forces are not yet ready, as they designated themselves, for the modern conflict. If we speak about the stability of political elites in answering Russian propaganda and disinformation, the situation is quite vague. Although we cannot directly mention any distinct pro-Russian party or any party directly involved and infused with Russian oligarchs' money or dirty money from Russian regime, there is still some politicians and some forces that supports pro-Russian narratives. For example, we should mention the Alliance of Unification of Romanians, an opposition alt-right party which still holds up to 9% in Romanian parliament, and from time to time, especially starting with 24th February 2022, we can see some, as we say, Kremlin narratives within the rhetoric and within their attitudes towards the current situation in Ukraine and the current crisis that possess the world order. At the same time, due to new changes in Romanian legislation and especially within the framework of special services of Romania, no other channel of official Russian propaganda is available within Romanian informational space, and that is why other parties, elites and especially Romanian voters are not subjugated to Russian narratives, and thus the Alliance of Unification of Romanians have quite a small marginalized community of voters who can probably support such narratives. And that is why we can conclude that to a big extent, maybe to the best extent within our research, Romanian political elites are quite stable in countering Russian influence. So, does this mean that Romania and Romanians are resilient to malign Russian informational influences? Yes and no. Because there are still some specific organizations, for example, Council for Russian Compatriots in Romania, that can spread violent, to some extent, Russian misinformation that can endanger the resilience and stability of Romanian informational security. At the same time, as I have already mentioned, the Alliance of Unification of Romanians is still present in parliament. And 9% can be viewed as quite a small percentage within the whole scheme of Romanian parliamentarians, but at the same time it is quite enough to disturb the unabated work of parliamentarians, and this still can pose some political dangers. At the same time, we do see that Romanian legislature is trying to catch up with the latest trends, and for example, starting from the April and May 2022, according to new laws passed by Romanian Parliament, Russian media such as Sputnik and Russia Today was prohibited from being broadcasted in Romania. And given that 77% of Romanians still view television as the main source of information, especially when it comes to international relations, we should note that there is no television influence and no direct official information influence on Romanian population. At the same time, some loopholes still exist. According to the same research, 56% of Romanians get additional information on international politics and politics as a whole from Facebook groups. And we do understand that Russian bots, trolls, and Russian propaganda machine as a whole is still quite active in social media. And that is why, if the case may be, if the situation requires such action to be taken, we do understand that Russian troll farms and bot farms will be able to attack at least some portion of Romanian population. If we speak about economical resilience of Romania, as with many other countries within the region, the main source of potential Russian influence is within energy sphere. According to official statistics of Romania, 80% of its energy needs are met with sufficient self-production within Romania, which is quite an achievement, may I say. The remaining 20% needs to be imported from somewhere, and as of 2021, more than 14% of this 20% were imported from Russia. Officially, by the end of 2022, this percentage fall nearly to a 0 point. But according to some unofficial data gathered within the big businesses and enterprises in Romania, there is still quite a high percentage of Russian fossil fuels and additional resources, energy resources, being imported from Russian Federation still to Romania. And this is one of the most interesting components of the research of Romanian case, because in this regard we see that official information presents the bright picture of Romania being nearly independent from any outer influences, especially when it comes to energy. But at the same time, we see proved information that a lot of Romanian businesses and even some sub-state actors still engage with bloodied Russian money and energy. And that is why more should be done on engaging businesses, local communities, and especially expert societies with their work with Romanian government for such statistics and such errors to be avoided. Second part, of course, we should say that Russian capital and Russian money was present in Romania for a great period of time during 2010-2020. As of now, we should understand that global international sanction regime and also investigations being conducted against Russian oligarchs and Russian businesses play its significant part in getting rid of such influences on Russian part. According to our research and to the data acquired by our colleagues, we do not see any significant presence of Russian capital or Russian oligarchs within economic life of Romania. Unfortunately, the possibility of reflexive control operations of Russian Federation within Romania informational, economic and political sphere is still quite possible. As mentioned before, Russia still possesses some instrument within social media sphere and within informational agenda to influence directly Romanian population, especially when it comes to crucial and even dramatic political events. Second of all, we still see some divergence within official and non-official statistics on using Russian energy sources. That could also pose some problem, as Russia tends to utilize such differences and engage in prolonged hybrid aggression using energy as a weapon. Thirdly, we do understand that some ethnic and local political issues are still present in many parts of Romania, and Russia, being quite instrumental in using local disturbances, especially with alt-right and alt-left parties, could, to some extent, engage in local politics from a geopolitical level and create some kind of political and inner instability and social disturbance, which could directly influence the decision-making process in Bucharest, especially when it comes to supporting Ukraine and anti-Russian sanctions. Of course, Romania, as mentioned, one of the most stable countries in the region, has its own success stories. For example, we should praise Romania for its proactive position during the first stages of Russian full-scale invasion into Ukraine. Romania was one of the first countries within the region that during the first stage of Russian aggression acknowledged Russian diplomats as an informational and political threat to Romanian society. And on April 10th, nearly half of the whole diplomatic corps of Russian Federation of Romania was banned from being present on Romanian soil. Also, we should mention the previously stated information on new laws taking effect in Romania that prohibited RT and Sputnik from being broadcasted in Romania. That's one additional example of Romania being proactive, because even in this regard, Romania was a trend-setter, trend-maker for other countries on eastern flank of NATO. If to give one advice to Romanian government, first and foremost, work together with your expert society and with your non-governmental structures. It is obvious that some of the experts and some of the active citizens, they do really have the potential to help. They have the potential to unveil some of the malign schemes that are still present. They are ready to fight Russians alongside governmental level. And they are truly that jigsaw part that can enhance your possibility of resisting Russian influence. And if we speak about the EU level, well, first and foremost, EU should pay more attention to Black Sea region as a whole and to Romanian role as a caretaker for reconnaissance in the Black Sea region. Because Russian militarization and Russian provocations within the region, let us not forget about the shelling of Romanian boats during full-scale invasion, especially during spring and summertime. Let us not forget Russian attempts to strike down Romanian planes above the Black Sea. And we do understand it's not only the question for European Union to pay more attention politically and economically to the Black Sea region. It is also an issue for NATO, which should at last get their hands on their Black Sea strategy and support Romania infrastructurally, militarily and economically even more.